It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Right now on the 10 o'clock news.
The white smoke signaling a new pope, Leo XIV.
La pace sia con tutti voi.
It's a history-making papacy, the first time the world's more than 1 billion Catholics will be led by an American.
I think it's a great thing for the world to have an American. I think that it will help unite us.
Wonderful. Great news.
Live team coverage on the 10 o'clock news starts right now. And good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Natasha Verma.
And I'm Steve Lacey. The joy and jubilation reaching around the world from the Vatican to the local faithful at parishes across our area. St. Peter's Square turning electric as the white smoke poured out of the chimney of the Sistine Chapel and as Pope Leo XIV was introduced to the world.
The 69-year-old's roots are in the Midwest, raised in Chicago, graduating from Villanova University in Pennsylvania, where he studied mathematics before becoming a Peruvian citizen and doing missionary work there. He had been serving as the prefect of the dicastery for bishops and was formerly the Archbishop of Chicolo, Peru. He was made a cardinal by Pope Francis. We have live Fox 5 team coverage for you tonight.
All right, Teresa Priolo is taking a closer look at Pope Leo XIV. Kendall Green is with the faithful at St. Patrick's Cathedral, but we're going to start with Sharon Crowley with today's historic first, the election of an American pontiff. Sharon,
yeah,
wow.
It's amazing. History, right? Unfolding in the Vatican as the cardinals elect the first American pope to lead the Roman Catholic Church. Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, now Pope Leo XIV. White smoke rising from the chimney above the Sistine Chapel, signaling the new pope has been elected. The announcement delighting the crowd in St. Peter's Square and coming 2 days into the secret conclave. At least 2/3 of the 133 cardinals agreeing on a new pontiff to lead the world's 1 billion plus Catholics. Tens of thousands erupting with joy as you hear there as Pope Leo walked out onto the balcony atop St. Peter's Basilica for the very first time, offering a message of peace and urging dialogue without fear. The newly elected pontiff read his opening speech, speaking in 2 languages, Italian and Spanish, but not in English. The pontiff pledging to build bridges while offering his regards for his predecessor, Pope Francis, who died the day after Easter. He blessed the crowd and said, "Peace be with you."
La pace sia con tutti voi.
It's just very exciting, and we're hopeful for what's to come.
I'm just hoping that he's able to rekindle a good relationship with our president and like all the government officials so that we can start going into a good route, I would say.
I think it's a win for America overall. I think that will spread a strong message of good throughout North America and beyond.
It's awe-inspiring. It's crazy. I don't have the words to say it.
That's right, awe-inspiring. Well, Pope Francis, clearly fond of Cardinal Prevost, bringing him to work in Rome just a few years ago, and it's likely this American Pope will carry on at least some of the legacy of Pope Francis as he also carves his own path. Catholics hoping he's a strong leader. The church in these turbulent times, they say, needs one, and many will take comfort in his chosen name, Leo, which in Latin means lions.
Yes.
Strong, right?
Yeah, exciting day, no doubt about it. All right, thanks, Sharon. And now we want to take a closer look at Pope Leo XIV's background and his path to the papacy.
Fox 8's Teresa Priolo has been doing a deep dive into this, and she joins us live from the newsroom. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Natasha and Steve. Yeah, Pope Leo XIV only earlier today was known to the world as Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, a pope for the Americas and the world, who hails from Chicago, Illinois. Now, according to his family, the 69-year-old Midwesterner was always an excellent student. He was educated at Villanova University, and he studied math. At 27, he was sent to Rome to study, where he was then ordained a priest. He's a part of the Augustinian order. It's an order known for contemplative prayer and active service. He has spent the vast majority of his life outside of America as a missionary in Peru. So he's American by birth, but he's really Peruvian by choice. voice. In 2023, Pope Francis brought him to the Vatican to lead a powerful arm of the church that oversees a selection of new bishops. It's going to take some time for Pope Leo to settle into this role, but he is seen as quiet, good-natured, with a good sense of humor. As for where he stands on church issues, he is said to be a centrist by most measures, but a progressive on many social issues and a conservative on church doctrine. He believes in focusing on the poor and the marginalized. Here's his brother John, who is probably just as surprised as his brother by this announcement.
Actually, there are no words. It's overwhelming pride. But it's also overwhelming responsibility. Being the first American Pope from Chicago and a relative, I think he will in some ways be a second Pope Francis. I think he has a strong inclination to help the poor, the disenfranchised, the people that don't have a voice, because he spent so much time in Peru with the people who were impoverished. So I think he sees that need, and I think he will work for that. The church has to be universal and help everyone, but some people need a lot more help. I think he will also do something. I don't think he can do anything, but I think immigration's big time on his mind.
Now, although we knew that one of the 133 voting cardinals would become a pope, Prevost wasn't at the top of anybody's bingo card. Although he's incredibly qualified for this role, nobody thought an American would really be chosen. And yet, Pope Leo knows the church from the inside out. He speaks 6 languages. He's young, but not too young. He's experienced, but said to be open to new ideas and leading the church as it continues to expand globally.
Well, he's about my age, for one. We were ordained priests around the same time, so we have something in common that I would never have had in common with any Holy Father before. Like Francis, he was a missionary, so he is concerned with the poor, and really that's a lot of what we try to preach and instill within our people, to be mindful of the poor and the homeless. Gosh, living in New York, just walk out the front door of the cathedral and we're hit with it all the time.
Now, it's unclear how many votes Pope Leo received during the conclave or what was the issue that pushed him over the line. We can tell you he's quite popular online with a substantial social media following. We also don't know if the fact that he's a White Sox fan and a dedicated Wordle fan helped him seal the deal or not. One thing we can tell you, he was made a cardinal in January of 2023, so this was his first conclave. However, his brother says he recently saw the movie. So maybe that helped.
Okay,
yeah.
So he's a White Sox fan then.
Right, that's what we found out tonight. Yeah, very relatable.
Okay.
Thank you.
Teresa, thank you. Yep. And the faithful from across the city, the tri-state, and the world flocking to St. Patrick's Cathedral in Manhattan to celebrate and pray for Pope Leo XIV.
All right, that's where Fox 5's Kendall Green joins us now live. Kendall, what's the mood out there tonight?
Hey, good evening, Steve and Natasha. Both flags of the U.S. and the Vatican standing side by side represent a new union here as the Catholic Church moves to elect its first U.S.-born pope. And parishioners here in New York City, they say they're more than thrilled by the news. And many were right here near the historic cathedral when they heard the news. They heard the bells going off, signaling the new pope had been elected. And others, they tell us, they were right inside during an afternoon mass when they learned for the first time Robert Prevost, who will go by Pope Leo the 14th, made history as the first American pontiff. Now, there were special prayers and thanks to the evening's mass for the guided leadership of the Catholic Church, representing about a third of New Yorkers throughout the city. And many parishioners tell us they're eager to learn what naming Pope Leo will mean for the legacy of the Chicago native, his predecessor, Pope Francis, as well as the direction he'll take the Catholic Church.
I would love to know if he's going to continue some of the legacy of Pope Francis that I really loved. I felt like he embraced and was bringing the world together. Catholics, non-Catholics, just humanity.
It means like I can't believe it. It's like everything. All I want is this world to be together, to be at peace. You know, we need that.
Now, Pope Leo already has a special connection with fellow graduates of Villanova University, his alma mater, and a graduate we spoke with earlier already values that personal connection with the Pope through his college, a connection he says came by surprise, but he's really excited to embrace it.
I think it's wonderful. I mean, it's like no other buddy in this country ever went to school. No other class before Villanova class in 1977 has had a pope. So it's a pretty cool deal.
I have a disabled son. The Pope can make a big difference. Bringing people together. Same spirit of Francis.
Now that graduate's 50th class reunion is coming up in about 2 years, and he says he can only imagine what having a distinguished guest like the Pope attending will be like. That's the latest here at St. Patrick's Cathedral. Natasha, back to you.
All right, Kendall, thank you. There was a lot of excitement in our nation's capital as tourists outside the White House reacted to the first American being elected Pope.
I think it's pretty cool, pretty neat to have someone from the States be in such a prominent position, and hopefully a lot good can come from it.
And I'm hoping that the Americans that are Catholic here, we reawaken their faith.
I just think it's nice. I think it'll help the Catholic Church grow a little bit.
And Pope Leo XIV will celebrate Mass tomorrow morning at 11 Rome time in the Sistine Chapel. The Vatican says he plans to deliver his first Sunday noon blessing at St. Peter's Basilica, and the pontiff plans to hold an audience with the media on Monday. And one part of our area is feeling a special connection to the new pontiff.
All right, it's the New Jersey neighborhood known as Little Lima, where they're taking great pride in Pope Leo XIV's deep connection to Peru. Plus, get ready to hear from the new Pope in his own words in English.
I've been a missionary my whole life, and I was working in Peru, but I am American.
That was then Cardinal Robert Prevost speaking back in 2023. We're going to hear more from him next. But first, Nick is here tracking some heavy rain. Hi, Nick.
Hi there. Yep, the potential is there for that tonight and tomorrow, and you can see why. It's kind of lining up to the southwest and northeast along a little stalled front. But there's some good news for the weekend, too. I'll have that when the 10 o'clock news returns.
Catholics across the world are celebrating Pope Leo XIV, but his papacy has special meaning for one local community.
That's right. It all has to do with his time ministering in Peru. Fox 5's Jessica Formoso is in the Little Lima section of Paterson, New Jersey, with more.
A mi querida diócesis de Chiclayo en el Perú.
Pope Leo XIV addressing the faithful in Spanish as he overlooked the crowd in St. Peter's Square. The American Pope, who was born in Chicago, spent most of his career in Peru, where he served as a missionary and then from 2014 to 2023 as the Archbishop of the city of Chiclayo. In Lima, Peru's capital, the bells of the cathedral rang once the world found out who the new pope was. In 2015, Pope Leo became a citizen of the South American country, holding dual citizenship of the United States and Peru, making him the first pope of each country.
Estoy muy emocionada, qué alegría.
I'm very excited. What a joy. It is truly an incredible joy to know he's a naturalized Peruvian pope. He's an excellent choice. How wonderful. It seems that he is a pope who follows the line of late Pope Francis, and also he knows the Peruvian reality. And back here at home, we are in Paterson, New Jersey, in Lima Square, where there is a big Peruvian community. Emotions are high as they are glued to the television, proud to see one of their own.
Una gran emoción. Feliz, inmensamente feliz.
Immensely happy, so happy that he is a Peruvian pope, proud to see the work he has done in Peru. Vanessa, who works at the restaurant Leña y Carbón, calling him a humble man, a man of the people, a community pillar. He has done a lot of work in Chiclayo for the needy, the children, poverty, everything. The truth is, we thought the new pope would be Filipino or Italian, but never a Peruvian at heart. Hoping he makes a trip back to Peru in his new role as the leader of the Catholic Church. In Paterson, New Jersey, I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News.
And earlier you heard Pope Leo XIV speaking from the Vatican in Italian. Here's what he had to say about his missionary work in English back in September of 2023.
I've been a missionary my whole life, and I was working in Peru, but I am American, and I think I do have some insights into the church in the United States.
As Cardinal Prevost was closely aligned with Pope Francis, and it's thought his papacy could follow in Francis's footsteps, focusing on the less fortunate. And of course, we're going to have much more coverage on Pope Leo XIV coming up, and you can get updates anytime by downloading the free Fox Local app.
You're watching the 10 o'clock news.
Our big story tonight, a new leader for the more than 1 billion Catholics around the world. Pope Leo XIV elected the first pope from the United States and our Catholic Church's 2,000-year history. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Natasha Berman.
And I'm Steve Lacey. Here's a closer look at the new pontiff. The 69-year-old's roots are in the Midwest, raised in Chicago, graduating from Villanova University in Pennsylvania, where he studied mathematics before becoming a Peruvian citizen. Where he did his missionary work. He had been serving as the prefect of the dicastery for bishops and was formerly the Archbishop of Chicolo, Peru. He was made a cardinal by Pope Francis. And tonight, local seminarians are, of course, reacting to the news.
Fox 5's Rich Jacobus is in Yonkers at St. Joseph's with more.
Red, white, and blue balloons are tied on poles across St. Joseph's Seminary in Yonkers on the eve of commencement, where a new group of deacons will be ordained priests. The first class to make a promise to the Catholic Church under a new Holy Father, an American Pope. The seminarians still studying at St. Joseph spent much of Thursday glued to the television screen, waiting to hear who would be named their new pontiff. An American Pope. Cue the shock, the euphoria. But think of what this means to the future leaders of the oldest religious institution in the Western world.
I think it's very exciting to have a leader of our church who is one of us.
Pope Leo XIV's photo now sits in front of the chapel entrance at St. Joseph's, the new pontiff leading the Catholic Church during what some are calling a vocational crisis. Simply put, there aren't enough priests. But there is promise now under a new American leader. Adjunct professor Father Ryan Muldoon has faith that Pope Leo will inspire a whole new generation of young men.
There is a groundswell of folks returning and embracing their Catholic faith. We hope that there will be a groundswell as well in terms of young men considering the call of God to serve him as a priest.
I'm actually studying here from the Midwest, and so him being from Chicago, it was very surprising.
And this Yonkers seminary having a small connection too.
We're affiliated with one of the Roman universities where Father Provost at the time had studied. He studied church law, and we're affiliated with that school, so we feel a certain connection with him. But now he is our pastor. The chief pastor of the church, Pope Leo XIV.
Pope Benedict was the last pope to visit St. Joseph's back in 2008. Before him, Pope John Paul II. Pope Francis did not make a stop here when he came to New York in 2015. The hope, though, is that Pope Leo makes time when he makes his first pilgrimage as pontiff to the United States. We're in Yonkers at St. Joseph's Seminary. Richard Giacovas, Fox 5 News.
And one of the city's oldest Catholic high schools says it feels a special connection with the new pope. The Lower East Side's LaSalle Academy held its annual scholarship benefit tonight, which also turned into a celebration of Pope Leo. The school is run by the De La Salle Christian Brothers, who focus on missionary work just like the new pontiff did for many years in Peru. The brothers say Pope Leo's focus on serving others will surely be reflected in the way he leads the church, similar to Pope Francis.
Pope Leo is an Augustinian, which is an exciting opportunity, especially for those of us that work in religious congregations like ourselves or minister in ministries like LaSalle Academy that are sponsored by religious orders. There's a certain charism and enthusiasm that Pope Leo will bring to his ministry for sure.
De La Salle Christian Brothers oversee more than 1,100 schools in more than 80 countries. And the pride is swelling tonight at Villanova University, just outside of Philadelphia, where Pope Leo XIV graduated in 1977.
Chris O'Connell spent the day on campus talking to faculty and students.
Minutes after the new pope was announced, the bells at St. Thomas of Villanova were ringing in celebration of one of their own.
When he walked in front of that balcony, it was like seeing a family member, you know, a brother or sister or somebody from your family emerging there. And everybody, I mean, people were crying and yelling and screaming.
Fellow Augustinian friar, Father Rob Hagen, is friends with the new pontiff. He spoke with him a couple months ago from the Vatican.
Somebody who is a listener, who is a deep thinker, who's a critical thinker, who allows for dissenting voices, and who is a man of great prayer.
born in Chicago, this is the then Robert Francis Prevost 1977 yearbook picture when he graduated from Villanova with a math degree. Students and faculty are just as stunned as everyone else.
And when they heard the word Roberto, right? There weren't that many people it could be.
It was just amazing to think that he walked these pathways. Everyone's just in such a good mood. We're so excited about this.
Since leaving Villanova, Pope Leo has risen through the ranks of the Catholic Church. He was appointed to a high position by Pope Francis 2 years ago, and this was him visiting Archbishop Bonner and Prendy High School in Delco in 2004. Kevin Hughes, Villanova's director of theology, actually knows Pope Leo and calls him Bob.
When his name was announced, I was speechless. I mean, I was really overwhelmed, and I could feel the tears welling up in my eyes. Just to have somebody that I've broken bread with, now to be the Pope, now to be Pope Leo, I didn't know what to say.
Pope Leo was actually scheduled to travel to Philadelphia in August to receive an award. It's a good bet he won't make the trip.
Now this happened, so I don't know.
I'm assuming his schedules might have changed.
He might be a little booked. His calendar may have changed, so we may have to pivot.
In Villanova, Pennsylvania, Chris O'Connell, Fox 5 News.
Very cool. For the latest updates on Pope Leo XIV, download the free Fox local app where you can stream our coverage anytime.